Soy Lazy Rich, y para mí la mejor parte del día es la noche. Siempre hay sorpresas, pero ahora puedo controlarlas mejor. Soy DJ y me encanta armar la fiesta.
You always give your characters a profound internal strength that translates perfectly for the screen. It seems obvious that this strength is yours. Where it comes from, naturally? Is it preparation?
It's not really preparation, it's more natural. I'm not sure it's only strength that comes through on the screen, it's also weakness, abuse of weakness. For the film I was just presenting here yesterday in London, it's a mixture of what usually defines any human being, strength and weakness at the same time.
This film, as every good one, leaves you with more questions and answers, but you as an actress have to have some certainties about your character. How do you build these certainties, and which are them?
I've not so many certainties. I have certainty in the sense that it mainly relies on trust, and the trust I have for my director most of the time, all the time. But apart from this, it's also something I trust my uncertainties in a way. I know that when you start a movie, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I trust this kind of unsure, uncertain thing that's going to happen all throughout the film. It doesn't scare me. I know that's a performance or a film most of the time. It goes together with this feeling of uncertainty. By definition, you never know what's going to happen. You never know the weather, you never know the light, you never know the performances. It's mainly improvisation in the sense that, not in the sense that you make up your own lines and things like this, but in the sense that by definition life is improvisation. You don't know how you are going to be the next second, the next minute.
You work with, great directors from, Chabrol, Godard, obviously, Hal Hartley, Haneke. But you also work with two tremendous female directors, Claire Denis and now Catherine. Obviously, there's a difference between working with man and woman. How do you perceive it?
I've worked with many women directors, not only Claire, but also with Christine Pascal or with Ursula Meyer, with whom I did Home and a certain number of them, or Diane Curies. It's hard to define. It's something. Well, I guess there are as many differences between a woman director and a man director as there are between a man and a woman. Although, whereas a woman director is often put in the position of what you usually think a man is, a position of power, a position of authority. But we know that now that these I don't know if you can call them qualities, but these sides of a persona don't belong anymore only to a man. It obviously also belongs to a woman. It's very hard for me to answer that question, to figure out what is specifically different, because a man director can be very feminine, a woman director can be very masculine. I had very great complicity with man's director as long as with women's director. So I don't know.
You've said that you admire a lot Michael Haneke, and we recently saw a clip behind the scenes of Amour, in which you were telling him how to your character must drink the tea.
Whom drink the tea?
Michael
Yeah.
Haneke.
Your character in Amour.
In Amour.
There's a scene when you're drinking tea.
Yes.
And Haneke was trying to tell you how to drink tea, and you told him that nobody drinks tea like that.
Ah bon?
Because
I
it
remember
will be
that.
cold if you that nobody drinks in a sip, in a quick
Yes,
sip.
because he wanted me to drink in a whole.
Yeah.
Yes, and I told him maybe it's too hot or. Yeah. I don't know why.
But how much do I mean? He seems, and a lot of people say that he's very has a strong presence and he's a bit authoritarian in set, and you've got a strong personality as well. So how did you relate during the
No,
shootings?
he's not. Well, I think that it was obvious in that case that he was not so authoritative. He's very easy to work with. He likes usually what actors give him, so he's very complimentary. He's very. He usually likes his actors' performances. He's usually happy with it to start with, and then, as any director in the world, he works and he tries to take the best out of you. But it's never intimidating or embarrassing, or he's really easy to work with.
You've done a lot of characters, work with a lot of directors. Do you think something? I mean, there's a sort of character or a director with whom you would like to work with?
Well, I would like to work with all the best directors in the world, obviously. I would like to work with, you have a wonderful Mexican director, Michel Franco, who did Después de Lucia, and Después de Lucia was quite a good success in France, and he's a very good director. I'm talking about him because you are Mexican, and
when he sees the interview, he will phone you immediately.
Yeah, but I know Michel. I know. We have some plans together already, and. But yeah, I want to work with all the good ones. And as for the certain roles, I don't really, if I dream very strongly on a role and this role doesn't happen, it doesn't really matter, because everything, this whole imaginary thoughts I had for that character, I can all easily take it and put it. It's a circulation of fantasies, and sometimes you can take it to a character, but you can easily take it and apply it to another character. Doesn't make it. It's okay.
You're very prolific. You seem to don't stop working at all.
I'm not working at this moment, so I'm not so prolific.
Well, you're working in another way.
No, but I'm not so prolific. Well, maybe I'm more prolific than, yes, because also. It's not so much that I'm prolific, it's also that I do a great variety of different things, because I do as many French movies as well as foreign movies, and I like this, to share my time between French movies, and I did this movie with Hong Sang-soo in Korea, and I did a movie in the Philippines with Brilliante Mendoza, and I like this idea of staying at home and traveling with what I'm doing.
How do you understand the art of an actress has changed? How does your idea of what the job, the art of an actress is, have changed along all these years you've been working?
No, not all these years. You mean just to the acting?
No, I mean your idea. I mean, you started acting, and you maybe
that
have.
hasn't changed. It's the same. I mean, acting purely. I mean, the movie world might have changed, of course. In some years, things change. Sometimes for the best, sometimes for the worst. But movies are still being made. So, and as for the acting itself, it hasn't changed. Even with the new technology or with the digital or that new thing, it doesn't really affect the acting. Even because one would think it does affect the acting in the sense that with the digital you tend to do more takes, for example, but in the end you don't. If a director, you don't do more takes because you know that the media allows you to do more takes. You do more takes because artistically or you want to do more takes, but it doesn't really affect the functioning of acting and the relationship between the director and the actress.
Does Hollywood mean anything to you? I mean, you've worked there, but...
No, it doesn't mean anything that it means that it means, which is, it doesn't mean really, I mean, you have what Hollywood represents in people fantasy, like big blockbusters and things like this, but Hollywood is not only that. You also have independent filmmaking in Hollywood. So it doesn't really represent something precise for me.
But would you be interested in working a huge, I mean, as a leading actress in a huge blockbuster?
Yeah, why not? It's a good film. I don't mind.
And in all your biographies available on the net, they say your mother, I don't want to say, I can't bring another word to my mind, but sort of alentó, encouraged you to be an actress. But can you remember the moment you felt that this is what I want to do?
No, I can't, because even now, I think being an actress is something very special, and you are never really sure of being an actress, actually, more than in anything else. It really relies on something very unsure, like moving sands, or, sands, I don't know how you say that in English.
Yeah.
It's never something that you are so sure about, so not more now than when I began.
And what's the part that you enjoy the most about the act of acting?
The way of life. I like to act itself, of course, but I also like the way of life. The way I like it. It's a lot of. I like to be alone with my character, and I like. It gives me it puts you in a world of silence most of the time, and a certain kind of loneliness, which it's collective and lonely, and that's quite nice. When you do a movie, it's a collective thing because you are surrounded by a lot of people, but within these circles of a lot of people, you can create your own little circle in the middle of which you are totally alone and sort of deaf and blind to the rest of the world, and it's a very nice feeling. So I like the environment that it puts me in.
How do you suspend judgment when you have a character?
Mm?
How do you suspend judgment when
Suspend? What do you mean?
you avoid?
Avoid.
Avoid. Well, I try. I don't even try. Again, it's more like a natural movement, but I assume that naturally I always like never to excuse a character, because usually the characters I play are, let's say, responsible or do whatever they do, not only because of them, but also because of the situations in which they are being put. So that first takes away some kind of responsibility, because it's more the historical context or the social context that pushes a character to do whatever he does for surviving or for. So I never try to idealize this, because that's the world, but within that I try to give a little piece of hope and of innocence to all the character I do, and hopefully I succeed.
You are, I mean, you're not very big, but you portray such a not only strength, as we said before, but obviously you're extremely talented. But I mean, in white material, you have all this real
physicality.
Physicality.
I had no choice. I was put in certain situations in that movie, and the character was clearly mainly defined by this strength, by this, and if you put someone like me in a certain nature where you really feel the brutality of the nature, like the heat and the immensity and the roughness of the country, that's the miracle of cinema. There is something like a chemistry that immediately works and is very active on the perception you have of the film.